I imagine they still have it, don't they?
Do you have any?
Yeah,
insight on that?
it's an annual,
My turn to do what?
it's an annual
Oh,
Okay.
trail grant program that they have. And I know like Byram Borough takes really good advantage of it, and they've kind of maximized their trails in a lot of their properties. So it's definitely something Sparta should look into and see what we can do, because it's, you know, essentially it's free money for whatever trail projects that Sparta has. And I know there's a lot of different properties in Sparta that could be beneficial for that. So
To take that down one level, what should Sparta do to take advantage of this?
I mean, we can reach out to the trail grant program, so that would be the planning department over at Sussex County, and kind of inquire. I'm not sure exactly when the deadline is for 2024, and if we've missed it, and if we need to look forward for 2025. But I can look into that for us. We can all look into that, see more information on that.
So, Chairwoman Knoll, how does this in play with our grant, our open space plan? Is that,
Yeah.
can this be folded into that, or?
Yes, it could. One of the things that they said they will look at is the trails and where there might be opportunity for that. So if that's one of the goals that we want to give them as part of the open space planning, they could do that.
Are they going to be able to almost look at what parallel grants, for example, like that trail grant, when we do make our open space plan, and we can see, oh, well, these are resources that we can acquire to.
Yeah, I don't know that they will go as far as to say, here, reach out to this organization, or here is grant money that's available. I think
Okay.
it's, they didn't mention that as one of the things that's included in it when we're done, but.
Good to look at them.
I
Yeah.
think,
Christine, do you know more?
I think that what I gained, we had an informal meeting just the other day, is that our basis is try to find properties that we can set aside and utilize the green acres. And what I've seen in the past with Lafayette Township is they combine this with the Sussex County grants. So it's a package that comes from the county, from the state, and
Makes
from
sense then, yeah.
Sparta.
So a cooperative deal at that point.
Yeah.
But do we have to communicate to the people writing the open space plan?
Yes, we're going to have the opportunity to share what goals we have
Okay.
for this planning process. So if one of our goals is to also make sure that we identify all of the trails along with opportunities for developing new trails, that would be part of it.
Thank you.
And there will be 2 mandatory public sessions also. So we're talking about
Yep.
scheduling that. We don't have them scheduled at this moment.
All right. We don't have any applications tonight, so moving on to public comment. Hi.
Hi.
Were you here to make any comment or ask any questions or anything?
So far it's my first meeting, so I'm here to primarily observe.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Welcome. There's an agenda here. If you want to take that, you can follow along so you'll know where we are.
Thank you. Should I,
Yeah, if you would sign in, that'd be great too. And if you're interested, we have a green team that we can make sure you're included if you put an email there, and then you'll be able to get emails regarding the green team information.
okay, thank you. Should I just put
Yeah.
it here?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Even right there, if you're interested in the green team, just make a note.
yeah.
If you are, we're not pressuring.
Yeah, you don't have to be.
And I would like to especially welcome John because he's one of our road salt monitors.
Oh, okay.
He does 2 locations over in the Pollenskill and the Pope John area.
Yeah. Oh, welcome, John.
Yeah, I've looked at Pope John wetlands behind the school and Upper Lake Mohawk towards the dock. And I think so far they stayed pretty consistent. There's been one instance where Upper Lake was at a little bit of a higher reading, but so far it's been fairly consistent at both locations.
Oh, good.
That's good to know. Yeah, we need that baseline data going forward. Thank you so much.
All right, reports. Who wants to go? Dan, you want to go first?
Sure. So our last council meeting was kind of thin. There weren't any ordinances to discuss. I discussed a couple things at our last meeting, or some of the other activities think I talked a lot about the Revolution NJ committee last meeting. I think I'll mention two things. The next big thing that the council is going to tackle are short-term rentals. We had, I think, a third public session about that, having, I couldn't call it, we had two formal public sessions. There was some discussion on it at the last council meeting as well. And we are at the point of gathering and consolidating feedback. And I believe at the next council meeting, we will introduce an ordinance to address short-term rentals in our town. And I think the next thing after that, or one of the next things after that, we're going to tackle. Oh, I should also mention that it's the start of budget season, so our we might have a budget meeting as early as next week. Our budget meetings are off cycle, so they're special meetings, and they don't occur on the regular second and fourth Tuesday. So when that meeting is scheduled, that'll be posted publicly. I don't think we have a proposed date, but I won't mention it until we have it finalized. But that budget cycle is coming up soon. And the next thing we're going to tackle is, or start to address, I think, early this year is cannabis, starting with a public session. So we'll, you may or may not know, but I think it was 2020. It was a number of years ago where after the the state constitution was amended to permit recreational use of cannabis, that Sparta took the step of opting out of everything that we could, the distribution, sale, packaging. There was a number of activities. People could legally possess it and use it, but all of the commercial businesses were opted out or were prohibited in Sparta. The council did that at the time because the state regulations were not yet public, so we didn't know what the state would require us to do. So without that information, the council decided that it was better off to play it safe. Now that the regulations are out there and the businesses is more mature. I'm sorry, you can't hear. So now that the state, is this better, Paul, Ted? Yeah, sorry about that. I should be talking into the microphone. So now that these state regulations are clear and the businesses are mature, we have a much better view of what we were getting into. So we're going to probably schedule up in the next couple of meetings a public comment period so the public can give us their feedback, and then consolidate that and work with our planning board to determine, if what businesses might make sense and in what locations they might make sense. But all those discussions haven't started yet, and they will start, I'm guessing, in the next couple of months. I think that's all I can offer from the council.
Christine?
Yes, from the planning board, I would like the Environmental Commission to know that our master plan committee has begun its meetings. And this is important for us to keep in mind, of course, because what comes of our open space planning committee will need to be incorporated into the master plan. So we need to kind of move together on this and make sure that we communicate well with one another. And we've been just spending a lot of time in executive session lately.
Okay. And Neil?
Okay, the PIAC process presentation meeting, the PIAC subcommittee will be presenting our process presentation to the planning board on April 3rd. So if you're interested in seeing what that's about, you can tune in.
Tune in. Great. All right. I didn't miss anybody, right? No. Okay. Open space planning. We did have our first meeting with the Land Conservation of New Jersey organization, who's helping us do the planning for this. And most folks were able to attend who's on the committee. So Linda, Corey was there, Corey Stoner, who's our engineer, Christine Dunbar, and myself were there. We will be having another meeting to kind of just make sure that we're getting ourselves organized. They've requested a series of documents that they need to start doing some of the planning. So Corey is working on getting those together. We will definitely be having at least 2 public meetings. The first one we're talking through now whether or not it's going to be a bus tour is one of the proposals, or if it would be more of a public meeting that we would have in this kind of setting. There's some logistics that we'd have to work out with the bus tour. They prefer during the day, which I don't know if that works for a bunch of our constituents. You know, folks are working, so can't really take a weekday and go on a bus tour. So we need to weigh that against the other option of having, you know, an evening type of meeting like we normally do here and see what would work best. Trying to think what else. We're thinking of definitely scheduling that pretty soon. So like, we don't want to get all the way to the summer because we're worried we're going to miss folks because they'll be on vacation. And they also need time to put all the information together. As they're preparing the open space plan, you want to do like 2 meetings kind of spaced out. So get the first one done sometime in the May or June timeframe before school ends.
Any thoughts after our meeting? Because I know that she had offered, you know, she had thought that the bus tour would be good. And so I was thinking about that. And then I was thinking about how she had the idea to advertise to the community to be a member of workshops where we have really a visioning process. I was thinking that that might be a better thing first, to announce that and have that, and then after we kind of have things rolling along and know some possibilities, then we go on the bus tour to look at those properties together. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts about that.
A clarifying question, because I know they say in the contract that they're coming twice, but for public meetings. But in the conversation, I really thought she was saying that regardless of those 2 meetings, she had to come for the tour. And if we wanted to add people to that, that would be great.
Oh.
But I think you had a different impression, Kim.
Yeah, I didn't, she said that she needed to come and view the properties.
Yeah.
Like view Sparta, get like a feel for the area.
But I thought that was happening regardless of the public meetings.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
what she did say. She said, irregardless, she would have to go on a tour of Sparta, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my impression was, you know, if we're not doing the bus tour, right, then she would come to Sparta for the public meeting and maybe in combination with that, go with like Corey Stoner and see what Sparta's like.
So you're just thinking she has to come 2 days, no matter what we do on those 2 days.
Yes. That's what it says in the contract. 2 on-site visits.
Well, if we're not having a formal bus tour, I would, some of us, like you, would
Yeah. we
accompany
could
her,
go.
right? Okay, yeah. And I'd be happy to.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Yeah, because we were thinking of who could lead the tour, you know, for us and point out certain things. And your name, I think I did bring your name up, Dan, and Corey's name, and maybe Jim Zepp would be another good one since he's, you know, had so much experience and now is the town manager.
I think it would be a good opportunity to get, you know, interested parties from the council or the planning board into the process on her personal tour, not necessarily making it open to the public, still doing the 2 public meetings. That was my only point. I think.
And I was wondering, since it's called the Open Space and Recreation Plan, why we don't have a liaison from the Recreation Committee to be joining us on our next, you know, informal meeting on Zoom and going forward.
So she mentioned she will do interview with the Parks and Recreation folks.
Oh.
I just don't think it's in person. Like, I don't think she's doing it on virtual.
Okay.
I don't think she was planning on, like, because we're limited on the amount of times that she's coming to Sparta.
Sure.
Do we still have, so in total, we have 4 meetings still? Or did we use one of the 4?
So that was the clarifying thing, is it's coming to Sparta. We can have not as many meetings as we want, but we can have plenty of meetings if they're virtual.
I see.
It's a limited amount of times that she'll come to Sparta.
Okay. Because I did not know that we had it in an informal meeting already. Maybe I missed the email.
So unfortunately, we can't have everyone
Everyone in
on the
one? Okay.
committee because of sunshine rules. So Linda had originally spoken up. So you're not on the subcommittee, unfortunately, for this piece.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about sharing the documents that she sends us, like on a Google shared drive? Can we share that with the entire committee?
I don't see why not.
If the documents were presented in public, the answer is yes. You can share an email with the committee. You can't have an email discussion of policy. But actually, I think that, let me take that back. This governing board doesn't set any policies, so I think we can. But I'm not a lawyer, and I don't play one on TV, so I can't tell you that. But actually, so now that I'm thinking about it out loud, I think since we don't set policy, I think we can do these things by email.
I remember in one of the
But I
ANJAC,
could be wrong.
in one of the ANJAC trainings.
You're right.
we
There
were-
is.
We
Yeah,
were told not to.
you're right. Yeah, I did read that in the NJAC manual that it is subject to the Open Public Meetings Act. And okay, so let me reverse myself again.
Okay.
You cannot discuss policy in a quorum on this committee. So you can distribute things, but you can't say, hey, I think we should do this. What do you guys think? I think we should do this. That's verboten.
Okay, so we follow the sunshine law pretty much on that. But in terms of the 3 documents that were just shared by the New Jersey Land Conservancy to us, we can share those with the rest of the environmental committee. Is that what I'm understanding?
You can
Because we're
share them,
not-
you
we're
can't
not
engage in a
discussing.
discussion. You can't start forwarding comments around to each other.
So the comments, no.
They could be one directional.
Dialogue, discussion, no. But the public files, basically, because these are
Yep.
public files that we're talking about, we can forward to everyone here
Yep.
if they'd like to take a look at those. And I think you'd find them very interesting, because last time we got a baseline land use map, right? And we got if you haven't read through the Green Acres Program document, it's very interesting. I've tried to read through it several times. I'm going to keep trying. And then we also had forwarded to us the most current open space plan that was prepared by our town engineer's company, Corey
Let me just
Stoner.
clarify, they weren't sent to us, they were put on a SharePoint site so that we could all access it. So we can certainly share the SharePoint site, and if you have access to it, then you can look at the documents.
She also cautioned us to make sure that the drafts of the maps aren't shared
Drafts
too
are not public
soon,
use.
because they are just drafts and they're not even proposals, or there could be mistakes at this point. So it would be difficult if there was a mistake that then we were having to explain and backtrack, and something we might not even know there's a mistake on it yet. So.
So as a matter of caution, we will not be sharing the land use map at this point. However, the Green Acres program is to read through, is very interesting, and kind of explains how I think different funding sources can be combined. So that would be cool. And certainly the CP Professional Services, Corey Book Stoners, a document would be okay to share?
That's a public
I think it's a
document already.
public
Yeah.
document.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's already public.
yeah.
Corey is not CP. CP Engineers was the former engineer. Corey's with a different law firm. Corey Stoner's a different law firm. I'm engineering firm.
An engineering
Yeah.
firm. He's the town engineer,
Correct.
correct?
I think you mentioned CP, and CP Engineers is a different firm.
Oh,
Okay.
really?
Yeah, that was the previous engineer.
This one right here?
Yeah, that's the old one.
Corey put it on the SharePoint site, but it wasn't material that he created.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
There are a series of questions, kind of our homework that we do have to work through. But before we start talking about that, I'd like the subcommittee to just talk through those questions and the best forum to kind of talk through those. And that's the open space planning update. We're off to the races, so exciting.
Nice.
Okay. road salt testing, Christine Dunbar, you want to talk about that? Anything new to share?
I just really feel like the site was so challenging this year to really put in your data and for our sites to be posted for the Sparta EC. I want to make sure that everybody here who has taken the time to order their strips and who has done sampling is shown on the Sparta EC site. So I would just like to know who has done the sampling and has tried to submit to the site, the Sparta EC site, because I'm finding is happening is that sometimes it's going directly to the Salt Watch, which is the bigger map, but doesn't get connected to the Sparta EC.
All of mine are both Salt Watch and Sparta.
Awesome. So if you don't see it, please let me know, because they're really trying to help us, with this and get through this so that we have all of our sites and the readings documented. I have asked the question, why when I download the Excel sheet of all of our sites and the information, it does not include the parts per million. So why they're holding back on that, I'm not really sure, because that, when I set up the site, I indicated that all the information should be shared, that this is public information for everybody to use in terms of guidance and planning and concern in different areas. So I'm still working on that, but we should be ready, actually, with what we have to go ahead and to copy that link for Sparta EC, and we should be able to post it somewhere on our Environmental Commission website as under the heading perhaps of community science or Green Team Community Science. So we start getting that data out there and that awareness out there a little bit more.
Are we still supposed to be testing until, you said, April 30th?
They said April 30th.
Okay.
Yeah, so right now what I'm doing, I've had a couple of inquiries lately, and I'm taking people out to locations. They haven't been in Sparta, but there's been one in Newton and one in Hampton. And we just say we're getting baseline data right now,
Okay.
which is, really important going forward also. So we can do that if anybody hasn't had their baseline data yet. We can certainly do that, at this point. And then if you have leftover strips, you just keep them in the dark and in the refrigerator. Hopefully, next year, early winter, late fall, you'll be able to use them. If you see that top bar has gone from a yellow to a purple black, then they're no good anymore.
Okay.
So that's a good indication of that.
Should
So-
we be redoing sites that we've already done before at this point, too? Is there any reason, unless there's a storm?
Well, there is a good reason for that, but usually what I'd like to do is set up an event, and we can host this, and it's called a salt something. Anyway, so you take a community and you look at key spots during a summer, preferably when there's been a drought, because then you can see what the salinity is coming out of the aquifers, and so that's very valuable because, like I mentioned before, the salt doesn't disappear, just like throwing garbage in the ocean. It doesn't disappear. It is still there, and it accumulates in our soils and in our aquifers, and then thus in our drinking water, and then degrades the aquatic life in our streams. So, as you know, Christy knows better than I do, we want to try to understand the salt concentration in all seasons, in all weather scenarios and through climate changes going
Okay,
forward.
So if we don't have a storm between now and April 30th, just hold off on doing any more.
I
testing.
would, unless you have
Okay.
a ton of strips.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
great, thank you. All right, Sparta Glen Arbor Day event? Any updates?
Yeah, so I guess just to make everyone aware, this is an event that we're doing on April 26th at the Sparta Glen, and it's in celebration of Arbor Day. We're going to have Sparta High School Ecology Club members and also Sparta Middle School Environmental Club members coming to the park. They're going to be participating in a series of different educational stations and helping us to plant trees in the Sparta Glen to replace those that have been lost to the emerald ash borer, which is an invasive insect that has killed a lot of ash trees in the area. So right now, the schools are set, the stations are set, so it's coming along. I told you at the last meeting that Kim and I had met with the Director of Parks and Recreation to go over the general plan for the day. And now we're kind of at the point that we have to do a walkthrough of the Glen to determine where the trees specifically they would like planted and get the species list approved. We are going to plant a number of different native varieties to really create that diversity so that if any infestation or pest comes in, it won't wipe out all of the trees that were planted. We're hoping to have like some environmental commission member participation in the event. So if anyone is around, I understand that it's a weekday, but if anyone is around to stop by for a portion of the day, the event's running from 9 o'clock to 2 p.m. on Friday, April 26th. And really, we would like help. I think it would be good if we had EC members either help with some of the planting and making sure that the kids are doing everything right and that the trees are properly fully in the ground, but also to help with photos of the day and going to the different stations, because I think I'm going to be kind of occupied in the tree section for a good chunk of the day, but I would like to have a whole host of pictures of the day so we have good documentation. And then typically what I do is kind of sort through which pictures look good and then go back to the school to just make sure that the students have permission to be photographed before it would be sent out, either put on the website or sent to ANJAC as part of our reporting for the grant. So, yeah, I feel really good about it. It's going to be a fun day. One thing that was mentioned in the original proposal was the idea of having an Arbor Day proclamation that would be read prior to Arbor Day. So I just wanted a little more information about that. I know we did it last year with Earth Day. So is there like a template that I can look at and update for our event?
I'm sure Christine, you'll be able to get a template for an Arbor Day proclamation. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, perfect.
Michelle can help you if you need help. Yeah.
Okay.
Are you talking about the one where all the participants in Earth Day signed that big board? Or are you
No, I
talking about
think-
the formal one. that
Yeah,
we
the
did?
formal one that we
Okay.
did at the town council. I
from the-
wasn't able to go that day, but I think there was a
It comes out of the
proclamation
office of the
read.
mayor usually.
Okay, okay. So that's one thing that I would like to see move forward. And then I guess I just had a question about the purchasing of trees. So I looked into what's available, and I have a list that can be run past the Director of Parks and Recreation to make sure all the species on the list she's okay with. But how does the purchasing actually work? Like if I get an invoice, this grant was already awarded. They did like I think half was sent to the township, and then we get the second half of the grant when we're done with all the deliverables. But if we have an invoice, like if she approves of the list and then I reserve the trees, do I just get a quote kind of made up that would go to someone in the township?
You need to go through the town manager. There's a purchasing process that is very
Okay.
strict that we have to follow. So
Okay.
the manager can walk you through the process.
Okay.
Do you want to now just get like a quick, anybody know they're available on the April 26th?
I'd like to stop by in the morning just to kick part of the kickoff.
Okay.
I can join for some time.
Likewise, I just got to confirm.
I'd like to
with my
be there too.
schedule.
Okay, perfect.
Go to, I just on my calendar in front of me. So.
Caroline, are you going to be there?
Yeah, I'll be there. I'm
Okay,
part of the ecology club, so
Yay, good, great.
Take pictures.
I will.
And I'll be there like just 9 to 9:30. that's
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Perfect.
I have a piece of new business related to this. I should have mentioned, I'm sorry, you done?
That's okay.
Yep, no, that's good.
From the council, I did make a motion Tuesday to put on the agenda for the next meeting that we fly the Earth Day flag for the week of April 20th to 27th, whatever the Earth Day week is. And I'll donate the flag. There isn't an official Earth Day flag, but there's one that's traditionally used, was flown at the first Earth Day celebration in San Francisco, so look forward to that.
Oh, great. Nice.
Do we also do a proclamation for Earth Day?
Yeah, we do every year, and I'm sure we'll do one this year. Do we have any Earth Day events planned?
No, just the Arbor Day event.
Okay.
Arbor Day is still in Earth Week.
That's the same week, right?
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So that's good, yeah.
All right. Rain barrel event. I heard that we only had one position open left. So if you haven't signed up and you still want to make a rain barrel, might be too late. And also that the rain barrels were ordered. So this is moving forward. Again, this is an event that we're going to be building. Each group gets to build a single rain barrel, either a family or a couple folks. And it's going to be held at here at the municipal building, but in the parking lot, and part of it's in here too. We have the room reserved already, right? Yeah.
Is the TAP in Sparta Independent aware of that event? And
The rain
if-
barrel event? I
yeah.
think it went out on our website, and I think she did carry it. Jenny did
Okay.
carry it too.
Jenny
I
carried
saw
it at the end of February. I believe it was February 23rd or February 27th.
So she's aware of it in case she wants to show up. And this,
Yeah.
I know there's a Sparta Independent as well. I'll probably see if they
Yeah, I'll
send them an
check.
email just to say in case they want to take some
Oh,
pictures.
Sparta Independent.
Okay, thanks.
And we didn't send it again because we don't have any more space left, so.
Well, I'm referring more in case she wants to cover it and take some pictures.
Oh, yeah.
The barrels, so they're going to be dropped off next week prior to the event. So is there a set location that they need to go? And is anyone in this building like need to be made aware of it on what day they're coming and what time and
And again,
coordinate with
Probably
you?
best if we're made aware of when the day and time that it's coming.
Okay,
So I can either have one of the grounds guy, Gene, or somebody, available to put it where we need to, to store it.
Mhm.
And I'll find out what location too, if they haven't determined that already.
okay. And then I guess Christine, just also, I know you were looking into the computer setup, but if Ethan needs to come ahead of time, even like the day prior or whatever, to do like a full tech walkthrough, I can let him know.
Yes, I have an email into Mike, our IT guy. So I probably will hear from him tomorrow. And then
Okay.
I'll email you and let you know.
Perfect.
How he wants it set up.
All right, thank you.
And also, in regards to the business cards, I did speak to Mike about that as well, and he is working on them. He said probably next week he'll have them. I know one or two of you had wanted your personal email on there. He is not recommending that because if something gets Oprah'd, an Oprah request, then your personal email will be on that. So, just let me know if that's the email that we had recommended, that generic email, is probably the best bet to go.
good safety tip.
Think of that.
All right, next item, sorry, anything else on rain barrel?
Nope, that's
Okay.
it.
Next item is Sparta Day. We did have a couple folks who said they were able to help out with that. So I have Landon, Neil, Barbara, Linda, and Ted and Christine Rogers, not Christine Dunbar, are able to help out with that. So we do need to sign up for that if we feel like that's enough folks, if somebody's willing to take the lead getting there early and getting everything set up. I cannot be there, so you're gonna need to think about a tent, because I'm gonna be using my tent for something else. And then who's willing to get there early and get everything set up and get everything back out. We do have the banner that we put up there, and we also have all the brochures to hand out.
I do have those in my office.
Yep. And then the third thing you can do is get like, Anjec has different displays that you can get, and then that kind of attracts people over to the booth, right? We had the one on water conservation last year.
I could do it. I have a tent and a table. And I guess then I would have to reach out to NJAC and see what they have.
Yep, see what they have.
Is there anyone in particular?
The games came from Anjac, and that watershed model that you were talking about came from my organization, so I could bring that.
Great. Awesome.
And do I have to contact the organizers or?
I will take care of filling out the paperwork because we got to submit for payment and stuff like that. So I'll handle that.
Linda, if you need an extra table, folding table, I have one.
Okay, thanks.
Great, should be a great day. Oh, and the fourth thing on that is we usually also have a clipboard out there so that additional folks can sign up for Green Team if they're interested. All right, that is all the unfinished business. Is there any new business?
When I first joined the Environmental Commission, I was given a card with Township of Sparta. I had to go down to the police station, and they took my fingerprints, and they gave me this card.
I love that, Ted. Can I get a picture of you holding your card?
That's when I had brown hair.
I love that. You saying we should get one like that again?
That's what my suggestion is. Rather than business cards, get an ID card signed by the chief of police. Once I was coming up Route 15 and I got stopped by a Sparta policeman, and I showed him this. He said, "Get out of here." All right.
They fingerprinted you because they didn't trust you. That's why they did that.
But
Well, we
anyway,
can certainly look into that. Like if we can do this instead of business cards.
yeah,
Yeah.
it might be up to the town council to recommend it.
Is it, Dan?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know how to.
It's like a township
You can
ID.
tell how
do you
long
make
ago I
IDs?
had brown hair.
Yeah.
Still have a last name.
Let
We'll
me see
have it
that
there,
picture.
too.
I don't believe it. Let me see.
You look awesome.
Oh, I didn't show
Very
it this
nice.
way. Yeah.
Here's my official
And on the
card.
back, it has my fingerprint, my date of birth. It doesn't have an issue date on it, though.
Like,
My weight, since then I lost 30 pounds. Yeah. So I think instead of going for business cards, we should go to ID cards.
okay, we'll look into that, Ted. We'll see what we can do.
Okay.
Any other new business?
I was going to ask about the Sustainable Business Grant. Did we get another business on board?
Not that I
either.
know of.
So-
We still need more.
Okay.
Are there, sorry, finish.
I have a couple of other things, so if you want to go.
No, no, no.
I just wanted to let you know that if you didn't notice, that the 33rd Annual Sparta Bagot Day will be held on Saturday, March 23rd, and Sunday, March 24th. So it's on the township website, and if you're interested, you can email Mitch Morrison about that. He's the organizer who does this. Another thing I wanted to bring up was, there's an Anjec Open Space Stewardship Grant that I don't believe we've applied for it. It's a $1,500 grant. Anjec is providing 15 of them, and they can be used for pollinator gardens, trail building, printed material, open space, trails assessment, a multitude of other things. And the deadline for submitting that, for putting a plan together, is April 26th. So,
That's the same grant that we applied for and got for the
That's the
Arbor Day one.
right,
Yep,
okay. So can we get another one? Can we apply for another one
probably.
for 2024?
They only give out 15? Maybe one or
That's,
two with them?
and that's, no, this is a new year, so there are
Okay.
15 more. We only want one. So, yeah, there's that.
Do you have a suggestion of what to apply for?
I wish we could put a pollinator garden or a Monarch Way station in Station Park.
Yeah, the
I know.
problem with those is you got to maintain them.
I know.
It's
so-
really cool to dig and take a bunch of pictures and then,
But now that we have such a huge green team, I was thinking maybe we could get more people involved, but.
it's a lot of work.
Yeah,
Because
I
we had a
know.
pollinator garden at the Holland Morgan School. It was great for a year until nobody maintained it.
I remember you said that, yeah.
Yeah.
But they have maintained the one at the community garden.
Oh, good.
They have a Monarch Way station there, so
Hmm.
that's one thing.
What about doing this event again next year? Because I know we wanted to make our Earth Day event an annual thing, and it would be, I mean, the Glen still needs help, right?
Yeah, it can be used for management of invasive species, habitat enhancement. Those were some of the suggestions.
There's also a lot of invasive species in Station Park by the river. It's
Oh,
very gross there. Would be interesting.
Does anybody want to take a look at this grant? Neil could send the link out and see if they're interested in potentially writing a grant for this, writing a submission. All right, well,
You said yes?
I will look at it,
Okay.
yes.
okay.
I'm Not
Look
necessarily
at it.
volunteering to write a grant, but I will look at it.
Yeah, look at it and see if you have any thoughts.
And one last thing, ANJEC just put out two or three more new training sessions for effective environmental commissions. They started on Monday, I believe, but they're up there on the ANJEC Views YouTube channel, so it's, I know I'll be looking at that for a refresher, and anybody else who's interested, it's a good thing. There's a lot of good stuff on the ANJEC Views webpage.
Yeah, especially our new folks, if you haven't taken any of those ANJAC classes yet, they're very helpful.
And also Sustainable Jersey has a bunch of trainings on their
Yep.
sites too. That's it for me.
Great, thank you.
I had a question on the green team. So is there green team activity going on now? Like, are they doing anything right now or?
Like
Like,
right now, like,
so we were talking about signing people up for the green team. And when somebody signs up, what do we tell them that they're doing?
we share different information about the various activities that we're doing, like when we did in the fall, the Bag It Day, we invited the entire green team to that. The Arbor Day event is not something we could invite folks to. It's not that type of
Understood.
event, but when we have those type of activities, we include them.
Okay. I was just wondering what the, because if we amass a volunteer force, so to say, could we set them on, I mean, you mentioned a couple of things we could set them on. Are there other things maybe related to knocking off some Sustainable Jersey functions? It might be a good idea to have a commission member be like the liaison or the captain of the green team to set them on different tasks, or
Yeah.
just a suggestion.
I know that we've also talked about doing a newsletter too, that would go out. Or maintaining a Facebook page, information on a Facebook page.
I think we should do social media for the commission. A lot of other environmental commissions do a lot.
Yeah. Do we have anybody who's interested in taking that on?
This?
I can start.
Yeah, you want to? Okay,
The clip.
great.
I think if we can set them on to knocking off some Sustainable Jersey stuff, that might be a good use.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Also, under new business, I'd like to propose that we take a team picture on the way out, so we can celebrate our new
Absolutely.
member. And I know we're one
Yeah, that's
person
a great
short, but
idea.
you know.
I forgot about that. All right, awesome. All right, do we want to adjourn first and then take a picture?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other new business? All right, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll motion to adjourn.
Any seconded?
I'll second.
Neil, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned.
I know we're missing Rob, but